I'm sitting up in a pretty comfortable chair in our bedroom, and actually, this was a chair that my parents bought in about, now let me think back, probably about 1960. We had it recovered. Before we had it recovered, we talked to the guy who recovers furniture, and asked him if it was worth it. And he said this was the kind of chair that we didn't ever want to get rid of because it's furniture that's made just a whole lot better than what they make furniture in today. Not that you care, but anyway, I'm babbling. But I made a video here another time, a couple of years ago, and this blanket that was handmade behind me. Somebody asked me if I had. One of my students emailed me and asked me if I had the pattern for it. But I have to tell you, my son did point out to me that within 30 seconds after the time these videos start, you're looking at anything but me on here. So I guess I can see why this would draw somebody's attention. Okay, so poetry. I already told you in the lesson for this week that you guys are doing a real bang-up job with it. You haven't let it scare you. Many of you have commented on the fact that reading it by the punctuation helps. And that's, again, something that I want to say to you. Whenever you read poems, read them by the punctuation, okay? It is easy to make the poem harder than it needs to be if you just read it line by line, because our thought units don't go line by line, and sentences don't necessarily go line by line. So when you read poetry, again, read it by the punctuation, okay? The, rhyme, meter, all of that can well be part of it. But what's more important is that you understand the main ideas. Also, as I said a couple of videos ago, it's really critical for most people that they read a poem at least twice, okay? So if you had to do that, that's okay. Give yourself credit for being willing to do that. Now, it's important for you to understand that the ideas that are presented to us through poetry are really just that. They're really just ideas. And what they do is they allow us as people to become really involved, to become a part of it. So, we may get a poem that's I don't know, 8 lines long, and yet it might take us 2 pages to explain it, because that's a big part of what poetry is all about, is touching a chord, finding some way to relate to the reader, finding a way to get the reader personally involved. So again, as you read poetry, don't just try to think of what the poet meant. Yeah, don't discount that. I don't want you to discount that, because the poet has a message for you. But there's one of the great poets, and I can't remember which one it was, who said, when I wrote this poem, it meant something very important to me. But now, only God knows what I meant to say. So when I wrote it, there were 2 people that knew, I and God. But now, only God knows, because when I read it, I'm different than I was when I wrote it. We all change every day. And so the idea that a poem should have a specific meaning for you doesn't make sense. So therefore, if you had people who were forcing you to find a specific meaning and you couldn't do that, and so it turned you off to poetry, think about what we've done here. Think about how we've looked at poetry as something that we can get personally involved in. Now, some of you had a hard time with getting involved in lyric poetry. And I suppose, if you've never really been in love, then love might be hard to understand, as in Elizabeth Barrett Browning's poem, How Do I Love Thee? If you're not somebody who likes winter at all, then the idea of stopping by the woods on a snowy evening might just turn you off, okay? And if you're somebody who has a really hard time with decision making, then Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, the road not taken. That poem might turn you off just because it's making you think about something that you don't like to think about. Okay? But actually, as you considered those poems, you did a great job with them. And, two roads diverged in the yellow wood. All of us make decisions every day. So that poem is really touching all of us. Okay? And stopping by the woods on a snowy evening, well, that's really somebody who's taking time to contemplate something. And don't we all do that frequently, where we really take time to think about what we want to do in a particular situation, or, we're right here, right now, what should I do? Or do I want this or this? Do I want to just stop and think? Is this the person I want to spend the rest of my life with? So looking deeply into things, okay? That's a big part of what that poem is all about, So, don't worry about finding out what the poet meant only. Yeah, what the poet's ideas might have been could be important, but really think about what's going on inside you. And that's what most of you did in these poems, so you did such a good job with them. Okay? Now, I'm not done yet, but video question for you for this week. I sent you an email Friday night where I said to you I would like to get together with you for a discussion period, because for our last assignment, you'll have your choice of coming in to discuss something, or writing a paper and posting it and then commenting on other people who posted it. So in my mind, coming in to discuss something is more fun. And secondly, I plan on bringing pizza for us to kind of celebrate the end of the semester and to have while we're discussing. And I'm hoping then that when we get settled on a date and time and that kind of stuff, somebody will volunteer to bring some pop, and somebody will volunteer to maybe bring some cookies or something, and somebody will bring paper products, that kind of stuff, so that we can have a party. Because I just can't bring it all in. It's just too much stuff to try to carry. Okay, so if we can break that down. But anyway, as your video question, and actually 3 people already gave me answers to my emails, but your video question is this. Tuesday, December 3rd at 5, or Wednesday, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, December 3rd, that's got to be the day. Whatever it is, that first Tuesday in December at 5. The first Wednesday in December, that might be December 5th, December 4th. I don't know. I got the dates confused. At 5 or 6. Same thing on Thursday at 5 or 6. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday during that week at 5 on Tuesday, because I have another class at 6:30. So the most we could be there is a little over an hour anyway. Or Wednesday or Thursday, and probably 6 is better than for most people, but I don't know that for sure. You may well know. You may have classes that take you to 4:30 or something, or you may work till 5 o'clock. So 6 is a better time. Whatever. Let me know. That's your email question for this week. Now, back to poetry. This week we're talking about poems that are designed to be humorous. Poems that are designed to present a little fun to us, okay? And poems that may be a little bit sarcastic, with biting humor kind of stuff, okay? That's okay. Poems don't have to stir the emotions. Poems can just be something we can have fun with. And so your book gives you about 8 or 9 pages of poems from page 900 to 909. And those poems are fun kinds of things. So put yourself in a fun frame of mind. And don't fight with them, okay? I have to tell you, the John Chiari poem, Suburban, oh my goodness. You may well have a next-door neighbor like the old lady next door, So it's really cool. But anyway, those poems are just plain fun. Let yourself go. Don't stress your brain too much about them. Just, read them a couple of times, and whatever ones you you think are really kind of worth writing about, whatever ones you think are just plain kind of fun or interesting or whatever, write about them. They don't have to touch emotions. They don't have to do anything like that. They just have to make you smile. Okay? So have a great week, and I'm looking forward to meeting you a little ways down the road. We have 2 really cool assignments in the interim, and actually one of them will have to do with the movie The Dark Knight, and Kim, you already referred to The Dark Knight somewhere along the way. One of them will have to do with that. That's the last assignment. So start to look for how you can get your hands on that movie, The Dark Knight. Okay, it's a Batman movie, and it's an incredible movie. And whether you like superhero movies or not, it's a great movie. And you may have seen it 10 times, but I'm going to want you to see it again for the sake of the assignment that we're talking about. Okay, so start to look for that, because that's what's going to be doing. That's what we're going to be doing right at the end of the course. We won't have an assignment Thanksgiving. I'm sorry, we won't have an assignment for the week that ends in Thanksgiving, but I'll post the assignment next week for the week after Thanksgiving. So we're getting close to the end. Okay, have a good week, folks.